So what I want to be able to show you today is being able to get extra liquid out of some of your bottles and jars of makeup and extra product in your house. So as you can see, when you look at this, the bottle itself looks like it's ripply. It's actually not. It's a perfectly clear bottle. What you're seeing is ripply in there is actually the extra product that's left inside this jar. And try not to show you the name of the product on here. Don't want to get in trouble with anybody, but that's extra liquid that's left inside there, and you can see even some kind of pooling on the bottom of the bottle there. And so when you can't get at something like in a glass jar, one way to be able to get at the product that's left on the inside of that is to go ahead and take the cap off of your bottle. And you can make yourself a little scoop, and what I've taken is a paper clip, straightened it out, and made a small scoop on the end of that by making a little circle with a pair of needle nose pliers. And you can go ahead then and get in there and scoop along the side of your jar. And as you can see, I'm able to then scoop product. You can actually see as I'm doing that on the side of the jar. Now if you find that your product is just kind of running on the inside of that little circle, you can always fill that in with a little dollop of hot glue or a piece of tape to just kind of fill in that hole. The other thing you're going to want to do is have some sort of a small container to put your product in. What I would recommend is some sort of a small camping-like jar. I have a couple of examples of different containers here that would work. As you can just see, here's one just real small. They don't need to be real big depending on how much product you think you have left over inside. And then here's one with just a flip top lid, so the kind that would work well for travel. TSA approved container. I mean, just something real small. It doesn't need to be very big at all. And then I found another type of scraper that would work on the inside. This is just a little plastic spatula. I have these left over from some sample makeup applications. You can sometimes pick those up at garage sales or over at drugstores and things like that, dollar store. So keep an eye out for those. They'll work well. So that's how you can get your product out of the jar. And so what I'm going to do now is, again, just take the top off of that. And it all depends. Like with this one, it's just a little bit too big to fit through there. So I'm going to be limited to using a scraper like this. And if you're trying to get to the bottom and you can't do that, another way to do it is to go back to using your needle nose pliers. And you can take that and hold on to it like this, so that you can get all the way to the bottom of the jar, and use that just to kind of help you scrape everything down. Alternatively, of course, you can always let your jar sit upside down for a while first, and let as much drain out as possible. But yeah, you just want to make sure that you're working to scrape everything off the sides, oops, as much as possible. Not, of course, dropping your little scraper. But you can see there's an awful lot of product that still lines the sides of the insides of those jars. Hold that down so you can see that a little bit better. Bring this container over. And just a little bit, I'll show you here in a moment. Just put it in the jar and then I'll show you how much I got out. Just that little bit that I'm scraping right now, not even counting what's all on the bottom. So if you can see on the end there, See if I can zoom in on that and show you. Try to do that here. That's an awful lot of product. I don't know if that'll zoom or not. That'll stay clear. It's going to drip off too. But, you know, when some of these products are, oops, shoot, as expensive as these are, I don't know about you, but I don't particularly feel like throwing that much money down the drain or in the garbage. So I'm going to scrape as much of that out of my jars as I possibly can. I mean, if you're paying $30, $40, $50 for, and some are, I mean, not everybody, of course, but, you know, some people pay that much for their products, even if you're only paying $5 or $10. Shoot, do you really want to throw that away? And that's just that little bit that I scraped in this small area right there, and I can get more. I'm not anywhere near close to done scraping that yet. And it'd probably be more efficient if I'd made a flat side on my scraper. I just have that rounded. So if I took this, see if I can make that flat. Alright, so I don't know if you can see this, but what I did is I opened it up, that needle nose, to give it more of a flat side. So let's see if I can get that in there. And now, let's see if I can get more. Yeah, now I feel like it's getting a lot more efficient. Scraping. Try to get that back a little bit so you can see that better. It's not as easy as I make it look. Hi, so I wanted to come back and show you after I'd had an opportunity to really try to scrape the inside of that little bottle, just how much product I was able to get out of there. So hopefully you will be able to see here how much I got out. And unfortunately this little jar tipped over one time, so you can see there is some product a little bit up in the top of the lid here, and then I'll kind of rotate this around so you can see. So there's quite a bit situated in the bottom of the cup, kind of up towards this side here, and then there's also some in the bottom of it towards this side as well, and then laying kind of on the side of the jar. So you know, probably for what was in this jar, a smaller container would have been a little bit better. But given that, I mean, and there's even a little bit, you know, you can see kind of ripply effect. There's a little bit on the side over here as well. So, you know, I got quite a bit out. I would say for what I use, the amount of product that I use, I'm going to guess I've probably got a good 5 or 6 applications that I got out without hardly any effort at all. And if I had worked at that a bit longer, I probably could have gotten, I don't know, 10 or 12 applications out of there. So, you know, just knowing that, I mean, that's a fair amount of money that you can save just by working at that a little bit. So that's just one way that you can get some extra product for your money and make that worth your while.